Hello and welcome to the United Stand. I couldn't see myself, that's why I was looking so funny. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is the Sunday night show if you are live with us. If not, it doesn't matter, but the Sunday night show is our flagship show and we love it and we're great and grateful and thankful to have you all with us. So, positivity, I said, instant match reactions, you're going to go one way or the other. If you've won 4-0, you're going to be like, yes, we're going to win the Universal Cup. If you lose or you drop points, you're going to be, oh, we're not title contenders anymore. I didn't actually say that, but there was granted and realistic points that needed to be mentioned after the match yesterday. We've slept on it. We all feel a little bit different. We're still top of the league. There are still issues around us being top of the league and where we should be. I mean, the reality is we're still only 3 points ahead of Liverpool, 4 Arsenal, 1 Chelsea, and level with Manchester City. When I think we should have another 2 points. We should have won that game yesterday, but it hasn't made me think that we shouldn't win. We can't win the league. I still think we can win the league. However, the tagline, the story from Mourinho is that he needs another summer to get Manchester United back to where they belong, back on track. Well, that's a year away. And to me, and I don't know what you think, is that Mourinho sort of saying that we aren't title contenders yet? Because Manchester United back on track is Manchester United winning leagues. You can't say Manchester United back on track is Manchester United winning Champions League because we've only done that twice in the last 20 years. So Manchester United back on track is Manchester United winning league titles again, and Mourinho says he needs another summer to do it. He said most clubs have evolution. When he came to Manchester United, there was no other evolution here at all, and there is still a lot of work to be done. Ross has joined me. Ross, can you hear me?
How you doing, Mark? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Just I don't know whether you heard what I said there, but Mourinho basically saying another summer to get United back on track. I'm saying there that to me sort of comes out as a, you know, bit like his comments about I didn't get the all the signings I wanted in the summer. Is he getting his excuses in early? Do you think Mourinho believes we're title contenders ready?
Maybe. I think you could. He's having sort of a double dig, if you like. Yeah, I think he is saying that perhaps he maybe would have wanted a couple more signings, and maybe he wasn't fully, he didn't get fully what he wanted this summer, and it may take another. And also, I think it's just another kick up the arse to some of the players there, because if I was in the team, and I'm being told that we need more players to challenge for the title, it kind of makes you think, why am I not good enough? And I think it's clear to see that there is certain players that aren't good enough. So yeah, maybe he does, but still, I think what we all thought and set out to achieve at the start of the season is still easily achievable, and we can't get too bogged down with the draw at Stoke because you're going to draw games over the season. So it's a tough one, really. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, the result wasn't good enough yesterday. Mourinho did make a comment about Phil Jones and says, I don't need to speak to him about it. He knows he made a mistake and he'll feel bad about it. I saw a fantastic thing. I mean, Paddy Power it was who did it. I'll give him a shout out. It was the evolution of Phil Jones, and it's really Phil Jones is rubbish and injured. Phil Jones shouldn't be a United player. Phil Jones is playing okay. He can be a United player. Phil Jones makes a mistake. And the circle goes round. And injury sometimes replaces bad form. What's your thoughts on Phil Jones at the moment, Ross? Are you a fan? Or do you think he... I mean, yeah, I'll let you answer the question first.
Do you know what? I don't like to praise you too much because I think your head's big enough, Mark. But I tend to jump on bandwagons, and that's just me. And I jumped on the Phil Jones bandwagon about 2 weeks ago, and I thought he was quality. I was comparing him to John Terry, and to be fair to you, you did stick by that he's going to make a mistake, and we're all going to see that he's crap eventually, and that's just what's happened, isn't it? To be honest. He did all right, but to be honest, I think a lot of it as well was Bailly not playing that well. And I think Phil Jones is one of them centre-backs that has to be playing with a quality centre-back to play well. He can't lead. Bailly wasn't fantastic. Phil Jones was all over the place. And for me, he's turned back into the Phil Jones that, before the bandwagon, to be honest. So, yeah, we need to I mean, we need to start replacing him for Smalling, and we need to start playing Lindelof a bit as well. But I understand why he's not playing. But yeah, for me, I think Smalling's got to come in for Jones because Smalling's a little bit positionally out of place sometimes, but he would not let that go in because he's very, very good with his head from corners.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Bailly was poor yesterday. Manchester Evening News gave him 4 out of 10 and gave Darmian and Jones 5 out of 10, so that's how bad they thought he was. I disagree with that, by the way. I don't think Bailly was awful yesterday. I don't think he was that bad. He was totally at fault. Well, not totally. He was at fault for the first goal, but Darmian made 2 catastrophic mistakes before that. But what I would say as well, Ross, and I want to bring this in, just quickly on Phil Jones. Look, you can't win a title with Phil Jones in your team. No, that's not what I was going to say. You can't win a title. I don't think you can win a title with Phil Jones in your team. But you can't win a title. That result yesterday, we spoke about it all week. If you want to win the title, you've got to go and win against Stoke away from home. And we won. I think we won that game 2-0. At best, we won it 2-1. The reason we didn't win it is because we were just rubbish at the back. No concentration at the back, and you've got to have that away from home. That's why we lost the game yesterday. You go away from home, you score 2 goals against Stoke. That should be game done. We spoke about it before the game. I nearly said I don't see Stoke scoring, but anything can happen in football. I couldn't see them scoring twice. They only scored. I mean, I felt so sorry for De Gea. That save will just be, apart from United fans who will sort of remember it, that will be confined to history now because from the corner, Jones fell on his arse. But what a save that was from De Gea. But even then, who was marking that man? He should have scored it. It was a great save by De Gea. But defensively, they let us down. And that's 2 points dropped already. We spoke about points last year so much dropped. And somebody said there, we've drawn and everyone's getting negative. We're not getting, we're not. If we'd won that, if we got a draw in the last second, if that was the game last year where Rooney got it in the last minute, we'd probably be quite happy at the start of the season. But already, I'll argue with anybody that was 2 points dropped. That we might look back on the end and go, remember Stoke, remember Phil Jones. Ross, you still there?
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. It did and it felt like 2 points dropped because of the way, the midfield and the forwards done their job. We scored 2 goals, and that's what we struggled with last season, was just scoring goals. So that's like you said, you score 2 goals away at Stoke, you're going to be coming away with a win all day, every day of the week. But yeah, defensive errors cost us, and it it didn't. Again, Lukaku missed another key chance, which was quite annoying. I thought he did really pants with his first goal anyway. But
I'll tell you what, Ross, I'm just going to jump in there and let you carry on because you make a very, very good point there. And people are saying, Mark's moaning again. You've missed the first couple of minutes. I don't know why people aren't getting notifications, by the way, because I know it's doubled. It always seems to double a few minutes in these days. So just remember, we're live at 8 o'clock every night, and mark it in your head because YouTube's messed up at the moment. It's not sending notifications out on time. But I'm not moaning. I still think we're going to win the league. What I am saying is I'm always going to be realistic that we dropped 2 points, and we dropped them because our defence couldn't defend yesterday. And I love Eric Bailly. He wasn't great. But on the other hand, Ross, 5 minutes to go. I thought Martial's cameo was fantastic again yesterday. Gets no mention. But he put that on a plate for Lukaku. And I'm sorry, if we're going to have a go at Phil Jones and Bailly and Darmian and Herrera, Lukaku, I wasn't impressed with his finishing yesterday. He should have scored the goal he scored first time. He was a bit lucky with that. But that was a sitter. And that's Lukaku. He went with his left foot when most strikers should be able to bury that with the right. It's coming across your body and you hit that in with your right and we win the game. Because he's got no right foot, he does it with his left. It's a lot harder to score because you've got to wait for it to come off your body. He doesn't control it. It goes over the bar. We should have won it. Despite Phil Jones's mistake, we should have won that game, and that's we've got to be even-handed.
Yeah, that is the point, really. And yeah, I don't want to jump on Lukaku. That's typical Lukaku. That's the Lukaku we brought. It's 4 goals in 4 Premier League games, which for a statistician is phenomenal. And he'd probably do that all season. He'd probably get over 30 goals. But it's and that's
well, so did Zlatan last year, but he did miss a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at, and that's where we're at with. Do you know what? That's where we're at with Premier League strikers. For some reason, nowadays Premier League strikers can score a hatful, and they're not. And because I look at Ruud van Nistelrooy, and if I put him in this United team, I'm going to be looking at 40-50 because that guy finished everything that got put on his plate. and we create chances galore. And Lukaku's he's got a lot to learn, and he's at United, and he does need to improve on a lot of things. But we've still got a hell of a player. I don't want to jump on his back because it is 4 goals in 4 games, which is a great start. But yeah, that chance should have been finished. And like you say, the first one was it was a bit of a joke, really. I can't believe. Everyone said Butland good save. You've got to be finishing that 1-on-1 with the keeper. That was poor.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Lukaku scored with his right foot, says United boy. Yeah, but he missed the first one with his left, didn't he? And he got lucky with the... I'm not having a pop at Lukaku. I like Lukaku. He's been really good this season. What I'm saying is, let's not hang Phil Jones. You know, we want to be even-handed. You know, it can't be witch hunts. We want to be positive. I'm not negative. I think we dropped 2 points, but I do think we'll beat Everton next week. Then we've got Southampton away, who are poor, and then we've got Palace at home. We take 9 points. Next international break, we're still top unless City win 4 games. You know, the next 3 games 6-0. So I think we're all right. But we've just got to be even-handed, and ultimately, I think Phil Jones got more of the blame because he did fall on his arse when he's just got to make sure he stands up. But Lukaku's got to score that chance. He has got to score it, and I'd argue that with anyone. Raoul Matthews made a contribution. He says, do you agree that Mickey is poor against physical teams? Well, you know, I think Mkhitaryan, for me, Ross, was poor because he was out on the right. And he set that goal up. You know, it would have been another assist. It's so funny because people relate things to Fantasy Premier League. And I was at a family christening today, and my cousin, who's not a United fan, he was saying, oh, I had a nightmare. Mkhitaryan got nothing for me. And I said, because he hadn't seen the game, I said, you do realise he should have had 2 assists yesterday? And he was like, why? I said, well, he was put through by Lukaku. If Lukaku could finish first time, that would have been an assist. And he took the corner that that Pogba scored. I've just realised Matic flicked it on. He wouldn't have got one for that anyway. But no, I think Mkhitaryan was out of position yesterday.
Yeah, did Mkhitaryan not? So because Lukaku missed the first chance, did that not go down as a Mkhitaryan assist?
Not on Fantasy Premier League, no, because he's had 2 bites of the cherry.
Proper ridiculous that. As far as I'm concerned, that's an assist. Don't care what Fantasy Premier League say. And yeah, you're right. He was out on the right. It's that thing again, isn't it? The wingers and Mkhitaryan's not a winger. And we were dying out for good crosses yesterday, and it wasn't happening. It was not Mkhitaryan's fault at all. Yeah, he was out of position. I didn't think Herrera, Matic, Pogba worked very well. I don't think Herrera had a bad game. I just think
he got hung out to dry, didn't he?
Yeah,
he should have been on the watch along. He was getting slaughtered. I don't know what Herrera's done wrong. He's gone from like hero to villain with some United fans. I mean, get commented in the live comments. I mean, I didn't notice he was terrible. I don't think he was great, but I didn't think he was terrible.
No, do you know what? He kind of done what Matic's done, but he just didn't have a lot of forward intent, and he obviously blazed a few crosses wide. But that was his first game of the season, but he didn't make any mistakes sort of in his defensive part of his game. And again, it was his first game of the season. I just didn't think that 3 in midfield works. I think Herrera's got to be a rotation player with Matic because they're not going to play every game of the season. I don't think as a 3 that works. And in my mind, if we had Pogba, Matic with Mkhitaryan in front of them with an orthodox right winger in that team, would have blown them away. It is that we were playing a number 10 out wide, and it just, the balance weren't right yesterday.
I mean, Mark Hughes said before the game, I'm not really doing a Stoke review here, but Mark Hughes did say before the game that he'd sussed United out tactically, and I'm not a big fan of Mark Hughes anyway. I don't think he sussed us out at all. I think we gifted him a point yesterday. We should have won it. That wasn't a tactical masterclass by Hughes at all. We were ineffective in front of goal when we needed to be to kill it with Lukaku, and we made defensive errors that we hadn't been making all season so far. But
I'll tell you how he sussed us out. He's gone that our left back position's weak, and we've got our left centre back positions even weaker.
Yeah, and we've got no left winger.
Yeah, and bombarded us down that side. And Darmian and Jones were both at fault for that first goal, both of them. And Jones was solely at fault for the second. So yeah, he got it right.
Shaqiri had, like I said, Darmian was, I presume he's back in Italy because Shaqiri sent him back there enough. Well, he won't need any more trips back there, let's just say, because he got sent back there enough yesterday. I think he played Darmian because he was concerned about what Mahrez did to Blind a couple of times before the international break, but Darmian certainly wasn't that effective against Chicago. You know what? I watched a few games yesterday, and we did a watch along for Liverpool City on That's Football channel, and was talking about deficiencies of teams, and you know why have Liverpool not signed a centre back? They're so bad there. Same for Arsenal. Why have they never sorted out their spine? But you can throw the same thing at United. Why have we not sorted out the left side of our, defensively and attackingly? Why have we not sorted out that left hand side? There was a graphic at half time on the game yesterday, and Rashford was more or less playing as a striker. Lukaku was even playing more down the right. And apart from Darmian, there was nothing on the left. And this is Premier League football. Mad Marcus said it last year on a watch along. I'm fed up of us. We just go down the right all the time. If you're an opposition manager, you just know, don't you? Weakness down the left, and they're going to do everything down the right. It's not hard. It's not hard.
No, it's not. And do you know what? Watching that game yesterday, when we play so right-sided, it gives our left-back so much space. And the big game was crying out for Luke Shaw. And the thing that wound me up at the end of that game was, if Luke Shaw played as bad as Darmian did in that game, we'd never see him again. It does wind me up that players like Darmian seem to be able to have these bad games, and then they're straight back in the team 2 weeks later, where players like Luke Shaw get so much stick for it. But we're desperate for Luke Shaw this season, and I think that a lot of that left-hand side balance could be sorted out because whoever plays on the left wing, those they haven't really got a lot of overlap support, where Luke Shaw hopefully will come in and do a bit of a job for us. And I don't know about his fitness, but I'm hoping he's going to play Tuesday. I'm not sure.
I know he played Friday as a centre-back, and Cal Davis 14 says, Mark, do you know when Luke Shaw is back? I mean, he's back playing for the reserves, but he's not back at the moment. LW10 says, Darmian offers absolutely nothing going forward, and Tyrone says, if Luke Shaw doesn't get fit, we'll get rid of him. Start to play 3 at the back, says Ewan Hackin. I don't think we can do that because we haven't got a left wing back, unless we're going to play Luke Shaw or Ashley Young there. Shaw can't get back soon enough, says Jet Hepner. And Herrera's presence on the pitch was redundant yesterday, says Annabelle. It's nothing that he lacks. It's not that he lacks quality, though. I mean, let's not forget, he's probably quite rusty, but is that any excuse? I've just seen, reading your comments, we're only 16 subscribers away from hitting 134,000 subscribers, which would be nice to do while we're live. So if you've not subscribed to the United Stand, bottom right hand corner is the hologram. Click it, subscribe, and we'll have a nice little moment while we're live on the United Stand. Got lots and lots of things still to talk about. I want to talk about what Van Gaal's comments are, which are just absolutely ridiculous. I also want to talk about United's setup and what it means for the rest of the season. Are we really title contenders, or have we jumped at the gun a little bit too quick? Maybe a little bit like last year, where we win the first 3, international break happens, and then reality bites. I know we didn't lose yesterday like we did against City last year, and then Watford after that, but we didn't win the game and we should have won it. So does reality need to bite? It's not negativity. Maybe we've all been a bit presumptuous, but then again, you look at the deficiencies of the other sides, and maybe we've not. Also got a couple of other things I want to talk to you about, which is really important as well. However, we've got Champions League game coming up on Tuesday night, and looking forward to that, of course. And I just want to, if you are somebody who has a little bet, we've got a little bit of an offer through Quiff for you that I just want to run through. The link is in the video description, and I'll show you the demo as to how it works. And effectively, how it works with Quiff is that they are an app that you can download, link in the video description. It's with Apple and it's with Android. And if you put a bet on something, when you put the bet on, they will enhance your odds. So let's have a look how it works here. So you've got Goals United versus Tackle Town. Obviously they're not real. Don't go looking to put any bets on them. You'd swipe to the right and look, as you can see there, you can put your bet on there. That's fantastic. Swipe to the left. Tap an outcome to place a quick bet. So I'm going to go with them to draw in that game. And the bet will be put on at there. And then look, your odds, even though it was 3.2, could get absolutely trebled up to 9.54. Now I must say, every bet that you put on with Quiff will be enhanced. Some of them, so say you went for United to beat Benfica on Tuesday night and it was, I don't know, 2-1 that United would win it. They will enhance that odds up. It could go up to 3-1, it could go up to 5-1. And that's how the Quiff app works. So if you are somebody who has a little bet, the Quiff app is in the link in the video description, And it's basically an app where you can bet on all the games that you would normally do, but when you put a bet on, they will give you a bit of an enhanced odds on there. So there we go. Link in the video description. That's how it works. Are you having a bet on Tuesday, Ross? Benfica, by the way. What did you get? You got so close yesterday. I must just say on the watch along, Ross comes on for the preview before it, and I said Lukaku to score any time, and I said 2-0 to United. If it wasn't for Phil Jones, Eric Bailly and Darmian, I would have had a hat-trick of bets there, because it would have been 2-0, and Lukaku did score. Well, Lukaku scored, but you got very close as well. You went 1-0, and you went Pogba to score, and if it weren't for Rashford's back of the head, do you think it was going in anyway?
Yeah, it was, and I had Pogba to score first as well, so I had better odds. So, yeah, Rashford's dead to me now, to be honest. Furious with him.
I'm not sure that was going in the net anyway, you know. Butland was having a good game, and I mean, he had no chance with that. But, you know, I did think when that happened, I thought, oh, Ross, he had that bet on Pogba, and Rashford knew nothing about it. But, you know, they all count.
I don't want to say any more on the subject, but all I thought about that game is how the hell is Joe Hart still in the bloody England team? Because this guy is phenomenal in goal. Absolutely. If we ever sold David De Gea, which I don't think will happen, I think you're looking at our replacement right there. He's a phenomenal goalkeeper.
He is. He's fantastic. So, if you are someone like me and Ross who has a little bet on a game, quiff. You can quiff your bets or get quiffed. So, whenever you put a bet on, it will enhance your odds. Sometimes it'll be massive, sometimes not, but it adds a little bit to your bet. So, the link's in the video description. Quiff and download Android and app. Right, what did I want to talk about? There's still lots and lots I want to talk about tonight. Where should we go to next, Ross? How's about... Let's do Van Gaal first, because this is quite interesting. So, Lou Van Gaal has said that he was sacked because of money. He was sacked because of money because Jose Mourinho is far more marketable than he is. Comments, Ross. Comments, live comments. What are your thoughts on that? I even had somebody say to me at the weekend that Van Gaal was really unlucky and we were heading places under him.
I can't swear. What a joke. I mean, yeah, he might have been sacked because of money, because if he finished bloody at the top 4 every year, you know, the club's going to end up being not getting any money. So, yeah, it is a joke. The style of football was boring. That's not really that marketable either. So, yeah, potentially, Jose Mourinho's football is more marketable as well. It's not down to the man, it's down to what he brings. And I actually thought towards the end of Van Gaal's phase that he brought our club into so much disrepute that we absolutely would never have got Paul Pogba with Van Gaal. Absolutely not. And yeah, all right, that again was another money-making, marketable decision. But I would argue now that Paul Pogba, Agent P, has brought all of these other players in. So it was absolutely the right decision by the board. And I think the board deserve a lot of credit for that, because it was a hard decision to make. And they made that decision. I remember watching that FA Cup final head in hand thinking, oh no, we've won it. Like, that was literally the feeling.
I remember that, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh crap, we've got to put up with this idiot for another year. But they really played a blinder, Woodward, and he needs some support for that, because, yeah, we got rid of him and his hellish football. I got asked a question. I think we used to talk about it a lot, like, on the United stand. Like, would we be happy winning the league playing like this? And got to the point where I was like, not really. I'd rather just get rid of him and get anyone in, to be honest.
You know what? I mean, I'll just read some comments first. George Kyle's the moderator tonight. Thanks for George. He says Louis van Gaal was sacked because he was complete crap. Chad Sproul says he's just bitter. PSG should have a transfer ban, says Fortune. I don't know what show he's watching. He's away with himself. Mr. Fresh says, come on, like the videos, guys. Yeah, please do drop a like on the video. That'd be appreciated. And there was a good comment there from Aaron Gage. He says, deal with it, Louis. You got sacked. No need for a hissy fit. But we know what? We did have this a lot with Moyes. I don't want to dwell on this too much because there's lots of relevant current stuff to talk about. But we had this with Moyes for about a year and a half where he felt sorry for himself. I mean, he was the worst manager we could have ever had. And he should have been. He deserved to get sacked twice, let alone once. But Van Gaal, he should have been sacked at Christmas. I remember doing the United stand and doing a video at Christmas and saying, look, I feel a bit disloyal, but he needs to be sacked right now. And he was kept. And I agree with Ross. It was getting to the point. I wanted to win the FA Cup because it's a cup final, but I was worried that we were going to scrape fourth, and we did. We lost out on goal difference, and he would have stayed. He was awful, absolutely awful. I've got no sympathy for him at all. He was a bad manager, and you weren't moved out because Mourinho's more marketable. You were moved out because you were rubbish, bored everyone to death, and it was painful. And I think Mourinho's spot on what he said. I came into a club where there was no evolution for 4 years, and I've got to start from scratch, basically, from when Sir Alex Ferguson left. That's what Mourinho's saying, and I think he's spot on. And what I want to say, just before you come in there, Ross, if people think we're being negative tonight, we're not. We're being constructive about why United didn't win the game yesterday. I would have nobody blaming the manager for yesterday. I back the manager 100%. All he can do is send that team out yesterday. He can't control Darmian and Jones making mistakes. He can't control Bailly making a mistake. And he can't control Lukaku not putting a sitter away in the last minute. There is no culpability against Jose Mourinho. And the left-hand side is a problem, but we all know he tried to sign somebody and he didn't get them, because whether he was backed or not. So I don't think Mourinho's at fault at all.
Yeah, just the last thing on Van Gaal. He must be blind, deaf and dumb as well, because does he forget that we booed him in his last game of the season? We pretty much booed him over the last 5 games. And even in December, the fans were singing for Jose Mourinho, and we're even selling scarves outside the ground. I think he just forgot all that. Yeah, he's gone deluded like David Moyes. He's going senile.
I think the thing is, though, when managers get sacked, they can rewrite history. I remember Brendan Rodgers doing it from Liverpool, and Pardew's done it. They all just sort of like try and get this, idiotic sympathy, as if, I think a lot of clubs and media outlets think fans are stupid. They don't realise that actually fans have probably got more knowledge about football than them, especially about their own club. And no, not at all. It's great to see all the love from Mourinho backers. I know I'm a big Mourinho backer, and I can't imagine a situation, Ross, I'll ever turn against him. I mean, I think if we look, I don't know. I think my love for Mourinho is so deep that I would just blame even if we lost 10 games in a row, I'd still blame the players. I wouldn't blame him. Yeah, but it's not his fault at the moment, is it?
I've got this overriding feeling that Jose is going to be at United for bloody years, because his idol to a point is Fergie, and I think it's the cherry on the top of his already glistening career would be longevity, because that's the one thing his career has lacked. And I think that he feels like he's got, although we didn't get the players he wants, the board have backed him and have supported him. He spent a lot of money, and I think they don't just support him in the transfer market. I think our board will support him in decisions that he makes with, let's not forget that he basically sacked our club legend, Ryan Giggs, as his first job in our football club. He's made some tough decisions. He gets backed all the time. And yeah, I'm with you. I think we're looking at a manager. Hopefully this don't come back to bite me, but we're looking at a manager for quite a few years, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is the club didn't back him on the transfer ban, but I understand why the club didn't back him on that. But what was it? It was in my head then. Yeah, 6th to 1st. We finished 6th in the league last year. Is 6th to 1st too much to achieve? This is for everybody as well as for Ross. We dropped 2 points yesterday. Let's be honest, but let's also remember we're playing Everton at home next week. If we beat them, City drew with them at home. So it's all swings and roundabouts. And I think what happened for me yesterday, Ross, and everyone watching at home, is that as that game was going more and more to the end, and especially after that Phil Jones mess up, I just thought, I've got a bad feeling about today. And I started to wander towards bad feelings of last year, which I've not had this season. And it made me think, not in a negative way, it just made me think, have I got on this bandwagon? Have we all got on this bandwagon of positivity? Because actually, what's that different from last season? All right, Rooney's gone. I think Matic is a massive improvement in the midfield, by the way. Lukaku for Zlatan, different type of players. And I think we played definitely better because of the pace. But, still probably going to get around the same amount of goals. Lukaku's still missing chances that like Zlatan did last year. We've dropped 2 points yesterday. And I thought, actually, have we run away with this squad a little bit? Is this squad really title contenders at the moment? And, maybe, what I'm saying is, at the moment, after 4 games, that disappointing result yesterday, we've seen everybody else for 4 games. In 2 months' time, if we go on a winning streak, we'll be title contenders, I'm sure. But at the moment, is it realistic that we are even entertaining that we can win this league, considering where we've come from last season and considering the mistakes of yesterday? Is Mourinho right to say that there is still a lot of work to be done? And sort of, I think what he's doing is sort of dropping the expectations a little bit.
I think realistically, at the start of the season, most United fans, I think you and me were included in this, is that we were looking at title challengers, which we are going to be this season. We weren't saying we're going to win the league, but we all get caught up in the bandwagon. And I don't think that that's a negative thing at all, because we sat at sixth last season for a lot of the time and we had to sit there and it was crap, it was horrible. We were top of the league, undefeated, hadn't conceded a goal. Let's all get on that bandwagon, because I enjoyed the last 3-4 weeks being top of the league, being undefeated. It was fantastic. I know we've had a bit of a reality check, which we all knew probably would happen at some point. But do you know what? That's what football is, and it's nice to be in that position where we can be on the bandwagon, be top of the tree, look down at the other teams and go, "We're going to win the league," and that was nice. And I hope that we get other chances this season to do that, and we are still top of the league. But so I just don't think any fan or anyone should be concerned about just jumping on the bandwagon, because it's fun. That's why we watch football. And I think the reality check has kicked in. We are title challengers. As long as we're challenging, we could win it. You never know, but we're not going to run away with it. Not at all.
I think you're right as well. I mean, it is football. I mean, I remember looking at comments over the last 2 weeks, and it's been like, I can't see us losing until we play Liverpool. We're going to win every game. And this is the Premier League. Especially away in the Premier League, it's very, very difficult. And as you know, Stoke and Mark Hughes and whoever he manages, he always is absolutely desperate. He gets them so ready for it. But we've got to be ready for that as well. Yasser Syed and a few people have said Leicester went from 14th to winning the league, and also people have said, well, Chelsea went from 10th to winning the league. I think they're different situations, because there's a consistent thing there. Mourinho was the manager who finished 6th, trying to go to the title contenders this year. Conte was a new manager and Ranieri was a new manager, and they won the league in their debut seasons. They also bought well in the summer. Leicester brought in players, and Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea won the title because basically they were champions and their players down tools. They didn't try. Then a new manager came in, they picked them back up again, and suddenly, they just went missing for a year because they wanted to get Mourinho out. They were the champions, and then they stopped playing for the manager, and then a new manager came in and they decided to play like champions again. So that's why Conte won it. I think for United, we've not been champions for a long time, and there's a lot of work to do. But I don't think you cannot say we're not going to be title contenders because we dropped points at Stoke. I think we'll win the league because based on stats, that Mourinho always wins it in his first 2 years. But actually, I do think that reality bites, like Ross says, that we did finish 6th last year. We haven't had a bad transfer window, but it's not solved a few problems that we did need to solve. And at the moment, I don't think we should be talking about the title, because I think in 2 months' time we'll know if we're in a title race. I look at everybody else, as we've said before. Liverpool, they're not going to win the league because they're defensively poor. Arsenal, get off, no chance. Don't even won. I may as well have mentioned Stoke winning the league, because Arsenal are not winning the league, and neither is Stoke. Spurs, I think, are one of the best sides in the league and have been for the last couple of years, but by playing at Wembley and taking the dollar, they won't win the league. And I like Spurs a lot, but they won't win the league because they're going to drop too many points at Wembley, which leaves Chelsea and City for me, Ross, as the two that are going to run for it. And what I haven't liked about what I've seen about City in the last 2 games is they were very lucky at Bournemouth, but took 3 points. And yesterday, I know they were 1-0 up when Mane got sent off, but Liverpool were pretty. I would say Liverpool were on top. That red card happens. City not only win, but they boost their goal difference. City are up there already, and I think they will be up there. They've got a lot of quality. Chelsea, I don't know. European football is whether they can cope with both, but. So United should, I think it always comes down to what I said at the start of the season. I don't know what your thoughts are, Ross, but I think United, much like last year, our failure last year was because we dropped so many points at home. It wasn't because we were poor that we finished 6th. We just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. We dropped too many points. And I think that will be the same this year. I think it's in our hands again. And much like yesterday, we should have won that game. And I'd argue with anybody that says that was a good point, because it was 2 points dropped. And we should chalk it up on the board and say, Stoke, 2 points dropped. How well we do this year now will be dependent on how many more times we have to put 2 points dropped on there, for me.
Yeah, it will, because the draws were the absolute downfall of last season. The only glimmer of hope I've got was that it was away. And hopefully we've turned our home form around, because that's what you do need to nail, is home form. And you really need to be looking at going a whole season undefeated at home. And that sounds like sort of optimistic, but that's the form. To win a Premier League, that's what you need to do. Even when the big four come, the Cities, the Chelseas, not Arsenal, but you've got to be at least getting a point out of them games, so you go undefeated. So City are definitely the main rivals, and it's so annoying to watch, because it worries me, like you just said, it worries me when a team are playing crap and picking up points, because you think City have still got form to hit, and they're going to hit form at some point this season. And that's what worries me, that they're not in form at the minute. You can see it quite easily. They're playing quite poor, but they're picking up points. They're on the same amount of points as us, and we've been, in the best form we've probably been in for 4 years, to be honest, and still on the same points. It's kind of annoying.
We didn't play badly yesterday. I felt we deserved to win. I was listening to Talk Sport, and Stuart Pearce was saying, Stoke deserved at least a point in that game, and I was like, what? They didn't. They didn't deserve a point at all.
Quality Stuart Pearce accent, mate.
Thanks, mate. They didn't deserve a point. I think they didn't deserve a point. United played okay yesterday. It was individual errors. Even Lukaku up front, that's an error not to win it. But so I don't think we've been lucky yet. Like City have been lucky, and that Ross is spot on. You need a bit of luck to win the title. But massive game for us next week against Everton. I don't think Everton are a bad side, even though they're about 5th from bottom. They're a good side, and I think that would be a tough game for us. But we need to get back. I was going to talk about that then, because we are actually playing Basel on Tuesday night, not Benfica. Benfica are in our group. Just shows you how my brain doesn't shift from one thing to another. I'm still thinking about Stoke. So Basel on Tuesday night. Martial, as I said, Ross, fantastic cameo. Rashford played yesterday. I was quite happy with that, because I think Stoke away, you're going to have to graft it for the first hour, and I think Rashford is the better grafter. And I think Martial in his cameo did well. He basically set up a goal that Lukaku missed. Would you start Martial against Basel? Do you think are you expecting any major changes, or do you think he'll go with the same team again? We're not playing Everton until Sunday.
It's a really tough one, actually, because you can Basel not that great. You can kind of get away with making quite a few changes. But
Lindelof and Smalling are definitely playing.
Is that been confirmed?
Yeah, Mourinho's confirmed that. Lindelof and Smalling definitely start at centre-back, because Jones and Bailly can't play.
Well, right, there you go. Well, that's quite cool anyway. I'm pleased with that. I would like to see Martial. I would like to see a few other players, like maybe Herrera and stuff, that haven't got so many minutes, because regardless of what team we put out, this is no disrespect to Basel or Basil, whatever you're calling them these days. I don't know what it is. But any player in our squad that we put in our team should be able to turn them over. So maybe even Jesse Lingard or Fellaini, but I don't know what Fellaini's fitness is, to be honest. But I think we should be turning them over. And for me, when you look at that, you've got Basel on a Tuesday and you've got Everton coming up on the weekend. I will be picking my team for Everton and making sure none of them players play.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Everton have got a Europa League game on Thursday, which again plays into our hands quite nicely. If we're doing this next Sunday night, me and Ross, and we've not beaten Everton, then I think we need to start thinking about whether we really are title contenders, because it's all right drawing yesterday, but we've got to go and win next week. Like Ross says, we've got to win our home games, and Everton at home, you've definitely got to win those sort of games. And again, it was another game that we drew last season, so Luke Shaw actually had a big part in that equaliser, didn't he? But yeah, we've got to win that game next week. But Basel on Tuesday, I agree. I would use Lingard. I would start Martial. We know what Martial can do from the bench, so give him another game to start. I'd play Herrera. I know I can't. Maybe we can pick up on Herrera on the Skype show tomorrow night, and the fans can call in and really let us know what the issue is, because I don't think we get it. But I would play Herrera, because even if you think he did play badly yesterday, he was a brilliant player last year, so he needs to get some minutes in his legs to get back.
That's Matic as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, Matic needs to be. Basel aren't a great team. We had the caller on Sky at Goldbridge last week who actually lives there and goes and watches them, and he says, you know, that a lot of their good players get sold. They're not a great team. They win the league over there all the time, but you know that's a game we should win. And it's a shame Pereira's not here actually, because he would have been. I would have liked to have seen him play, but we've got plenty on the bench to come in, and Lindelof will be interesting to see. Pereira watch. He played yesterday for Valencia against Atletico Madrid. He played for just over an hour on the left wing. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. He actually played very well. He did come off after just about an hour for another lad they've got on loan, Giddis, who was at Benfica, who they've got from a French club. I think it might have been PSG. Fosu Mensah played again, full 90 minutes for Crystal Palace. They lost again. Fosu Mensah had a good game again, but they lost again, 4 games in a row. Bit worried about that, because I'm loving how much time Fosu Mensah is getting on loan in the Premier League club. But if the ball gets sacked, will a new manager play him? Probably will do, because he's playing really well. So Fosu Mensah watch is going well. Pereira playing on the left wing, Ross. I mean, you couldn't write it really, but Mourinho wanted to keep him. But whether he would have used him as a left winger, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good story actually, and Jose Mourinho coming out and saying that. Actually, I quite liked it. It showed that he did have faith in him, and it was Pereira's decision. Yeah, which I don't agree with either. I don't think anyone did. We all kind of thought that Jose turfed him out. Left again, I'm not left wing, whatever. I'm just happy that he's playing. I think he's got talent to play anywhere across that midfield 4. But like you, I think his best position is central, and probably like you a little bit as well. I think it's central and a little bit deeper as well, because he's got such good control of the football. He's one of them players that doesn't need to be physically imposing, because he's just very good with his feet. So yeah, it's a shame, but hopefully he can just play well until January and we recall him. That's my dream. Yeah,
exactly. And you know, that was a big game yesterday. Atletico Madrid are a good side, and he played well. Rahul Matthews made a contribution. Thank you, Rahul. He's made a couple actually. He says, were the guys just tired after the international break? I don't think so. I don't think that's a fair excuse really. And we had a lot of fresh players. Herrera didn't go. Mata, Martial. He also says, do you agree Mickey is poor against physical teams, which we did answer. So thanks for those contributions, Rahul. And Abanaf Shori says, should we have signed Morata over Lukaku? Answer that one, Ross.
No. Absolutely not.
You know what? I wanted Morata over Lukaku. I don't now. But I will admit, well, it's out there on the videos I did during the summer. I did want Morata over Lukaku, but what I did say about Morata is he won't be a flop. And I don't like this who's better. I don't like Chelsea fans and United fans going, who's better, Lukaku or Morata? I understand that happens in football, but I don't really get involved in it, because they're both good strikers and Morata will be a success at Chelsea. Would Morata have scored that chance Lukaku had at the end? Yes, he would. He would have buried it with his right foot. But is Morata physical and strong like Lukaku? No. And I like that, what Lukaku brings. So they bring different things. I think they're both really good strikers, and I'm happy with what we've got with Lukaku. You know, despite that miss yesterday, I do like what he brings to the team. But we will have more misses like that yesterday, because he's just not. I don't know. I can't think of the word, Ross. But I hope people can understand. He's not smooth at finishing. He will miss sitters, and then sometimes he'll blast it in from 30 yards in the top corner. He's not an Andy Cole. He's not like, you know, it's not in his blood finishing, if that makes sense. But I'm happy with him.
Lukaku, yeah. I mean, we could have done with them both, to be honest. I think they're both quality players, and yeah, I agree. I don't like this comparison, and it's even funnier when Arsenal fans jump in with a Lacazette. That's laughable. But yeah, absolutely laughable. But yeah, I do like him, but I like our Lukaku, and you're right, he's not a natural finisher. And we've had at United, we've been blessed with some of the best natural finishers in the game. And my actual personal favourite was the player playing for West Ham at the minute, which is Hernandez. I don't think there is a more natural finisher in the game. I mean, he scored backwards headers and stuff. It's a joke. Lukaku isn't that. He's a powerhouse, absolute powerhouse. Which is why I think when he is slightly older, which is people keep saying that he might break Alan Shearer's record, I think he'll struggle when he gets older because as soon as he loses that physical presence, he's not good enough at finishing and his movement in the box to carry on and do that. But for the time being, I love him. I love what he brings to the team. Pushes defenders back. Pleased with him, yeah. 4 goals in 4.
I mean, the United stand's job is to sort of try and, offer up controversial opinion as well and predict the future. And what I would say, you just got me thinking there, I don't think it's going to be a comfortable ride with Lukaku. I think over time he will start to get detractors. Not massively. I still think, a lot of United fans are going to like him, but I think he will get detractors because of his style as well. Because I don't think he's ever going to be technique-wise brilliant. There was a bit yesterday where you can see he's holding the ball up better and laying it off, but that's not, it's what he brings to the team. I like the physicality and I like the speed. Tyrone Williams says Pereira could be as good as Scholes, and Timo says he's happy that Pereira signed a new contract. Connor C says Lukaku is much better than Morata. Matt Greaves says neither of them are good enough, Morata or Lukaku. Interesting. You might be right. Lynn Hall says think Jose would have definitely played Pereira in games like Basel, but not enough minutes to satisfy the lad. I think Pereira wants an outside shot of going to the World Cup with Brazil. And to be honest with you, if he has 6 months good months in the first team for Valencia, he's probably got a decent chance of going to the World Cup. It's one of those, isn't it? I wanted him to stay as well, and I thought it was brilliant what Mourinho said, because that's what I like Mourinho. He lets the fans know. Sometimes you have to decode it a little bit. He won't say it bluntly, but he'll drop it enough for you to decode. But he was blunt about that, and I liked that as well. Connor C says Lukaku. We've done Connor C. You're not having another one. Paul Robinson says, you think Mourinho doesn't like flair players as they lose the ball because they actually try techers and runs? Decent, Paul. Paul, phone in tomorrow night. I know you've phoned in before. Phone in tomorrow night on Skype and we can develop that point. We will be live tomorrow night at 8 PM. What I'd like a couple of people to call in tomorrow night is if you're anti-Herrera and you didn't like him yesterday, because there was a lot of people in the watch-along comments really slating him. Nothing wrong with that opinion. I would like to get it on the show and we could talk about it, because I couldn't see it and I don't think Ross could either, so it'd be interesting. Ewan Gordon says prediction for the Basel game. We've got a Basel preview going up tomorrow morning at 7 AM on the channel, so watch out for that. Wake up, watch it on your way to work, because it's quite a quick turnover playing Tuesday night. And then we've got Skype Goldbridge tomorrow night at 8 PM, and then it's game day on Tuesday. So we'll have that going up for you at 7 o'clock tomorrow. 152. Ob Sturge says 150 goals at 24, not clinical in Mark's book. What a joke. I love how literal people are, I just love it. They've just got no brain to actually be creative and think, 150 goals at 24 is fantastic. It doesn't mean he's a natural goal scorer. And I know that sounds ridiculous because he's got 150 goals at 24, but if he was a natural goal scorer, he would have finished that chance yesterday, because it's bread and butter. Lineker, even Michael Owen, Alan Shearer, that chance, forget about it. You know what? Alan Shearer just wouldn't even touch the cross. He'd say, forget about it. Just change the goal score. Just change the scoreboard, because I'll bury that. I don't even need to finish it. It's so easy. That's a top striker. Last 5 minutes against Stoke. That cross from Martial was fantastic. It's coming across your body. Perfect height. Right foot. Bang. Butland doesn't even see it. Unfortunately, Lukaku decides to go with his stronger foot on his left. You've got to wait for the ball to come across and catch it at a harder angle than you would with your right foot, and he puts it over the bar. That's what I'm talking about. He'll score a lot of goals. He's a very good striker, but he's not got that natural finishing talent that people like Andy Cole, Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker over the years have had. I think Martial's probably our most natural finisher at the moment, Ross.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't think I've ever seen Martial fluff a chance. Every time he gets one-on-one with the keeper, there is, and that's where your point, and I get it, that when Lukaku's one-on-one with the keeper, there's a doubt there in your mind, like, is he going to finish it? But he always gets in them good positions. When Martial's one-on-one with the keeper, there is only one thing that's going to happen, and he's going to put it in the same corner in the net that he does every single time. It's so readable, but keepers just can't handle it, and yeah, he's very natural.
Yeah. Cal Davis says, can I be on Skype Goldbridge tomorrow? I'll keep an eye out for your name, Cal. Call in from 8 o'clock. It's Skype Goldbridge, all one word. And remember, if you've not agreed with anything we've said today, or there's something you want to pick up on, that's what Monday and Thursday night's all about. You Skype in and you have your say. So don't ever feel, oh, you're not saying what I want. Get on. If you think Lukaku's a natural finisher, it's only my opinion. Get on and have yours. Thanks everybody who's watched tonight. Please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. We're not going to quite hit 134,000 subscribers. We're 6 short. So, you know, everybody's obviously a regular. But if you're not, bottom right hand corner is the hologram, and it would have been nice to do it while we're live on air. But remember as well, if you are somebody who fancies a bet responsibly, you've got to be over 18. But we've got the Quiff download, link in the video description. It's this new app that you can download, and when you put your bet on, it gives you a boost on your odds. So if you've got United at 2 to 1, it might knock it up to 3 to 1 or 6 to 1. Every bet you put on, it will give you a boost. And their bets are already at market level, so you're always going to get a boost on it. Link in the video description for that. Thanks for coming on, Ross. Love to do the Sunday show with you. What's your Twitter?
It's @Hazza90. And I'll just say one thing. I've actually thinking about it today, and I think it's pretty much a year ago that me, you and Marcus met at a little football tournament in London and I think I've been on United Stand for about a year. So thanks for everybody watching. You've had to put up with my Cockney voice for a year.
Yeah, well, part of the furniture now, and very, very glad to have you. I was just thinking about talking about clinical strikers. There was a moment in that where a certain somebody who you're looking at on screen now was running through one-on-one, and a clinical striker he was not. Did everything right. Did the keeper with the eyes. The keeper had even dived the wrong way before I kicked it, went for the corner and missed the whole goal. So, you know, I'm not knocking anybody who's not a clinical striker, because I'm certainly not. That wasn't my game. But no, that was a good bit of fun. And hopefully we'll be able to sort out some games in the future. We're still trying to sort out a United Stand football team. So keep your eyes closed on that. Open, sorry.
Marcus did well in goal as well. So yeah, never know.
He was very good. Thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoy the Sunday show. Back tomorrow night with the Skype show. When you wake up tomorrow, go on the United Stand YouTube channel and you'll see our preview going up at 7 AM. A bit of a weird time to do a preview, but it will be up there for you to watch. And a busy week. 2 games a week. It's nice after the international break. So Basel on Tuesday, which I think will be a bit like a reserve game really, but it's still in the Champions League and we still need the 3 points. Kieran Byrne says we'll play 3-5-2, mark my words. Well, Kieran Byrne, there you go, in front of 1,000 people watching there, so you'll be right or you'll be wrong. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to drop a like on the show. We really appreciate your support, and drop a like on yourself, because you've been brilliant on the live comments as per usual. See you later. Thanks for watching.